is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Yes, hello and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's us guys again. We are here with lots of information. I'm Les Jackson. That guy, you know him, is Fred Staub. And we, of course, are covering everything in the auto industry we can pack in this hour. And there's a lot, as you might expect, starting with Ram, right, Fred?
Yeah, Ram has revealed, a number of new vehicles this week, including the Ramcharger, which they're describing as an unlimited range electric vehicle, 640 horsepower. And also, they not only revealed that, but they revealed the new Ram 1500. No more Hemis, no more V8s. Straight sixes, pumping out, in one case, over 500 horsepower. So
amazing. Just amazing.
Plenty to talk about on that story, Les.
Absolutely. And Honda is bulking up its Ridgeline. You don't hear much about the Ridgeline. It's everybody who owns one loves it.
Yeah.
But they're bulking up.
They're bulking up. Yep.
We'll explain that.
Yeah, well, they're pumping up. So also, we're going to talk about GM and their Cruise division, not the Chevy Cruise, which is long gone, but their Cruise division, which may be gone as well. That is their self-driving autonomous vehicles. Most of their operation has been closed down. They're not using the little vehicles to travel around in. There's been some problems with them, and also they were going to build a driverless van. That production has been stopped. So what does it mean for the future of autonomous vehicles? We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, it's slowing down. Anyway, what's going to be revealed at the upcoming LA Auto Show, you may ask? Well, we can tell you some of them.
Yeah, we certainly can.
We will.
Yeah, we got a lot of information on that. And also, I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Equinox, and that is the Equinox RS. Great little crossover. Took it for a good review and put a lot of miles on it, so we'll talk about that and fill you in, and certainly one to consider. And the current model has a feature that I think a lot of people like. It's going to get a complete redo for the 2025 model year. I reviewed the 2024 model, but we'll tell you that feature that may be going away. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out on all our Cruise Control social media platforms like YouTube and Facebook, and we will be right back. So stay tuned. We're just getting started. So
Cruise Control.
welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Les Jackson, I'm sure you remember the Chevy Volt, which they couldn't really explain when it came out. It really was an electric car with an onboard generator, which was a 4-cylinder engine. And the idea was when the battery depletes, the engine starts and charges the battery.
Right. You're always running on an electric motor.
Right. So What if you did that in a pickup truck? Well, that's what Ram did this week. They released the Ramcharger, or the information on the Ramcharger, and great name, by the way, which takes me back to the 60s. There's a drag racing team called the Ramchargers. But this is quite the pickup truck. It's a 1500. They call it an unlimited battery range electric. So how much power? Let's talk about this. The new level of performance is delivered with a 250 kilowatt front and 238 kilowatt rear electric drive modes, powered by an onboard 130 kilowatt generator and a 92 kilowatt battery, a targeted range of up to 690 miles. 690 miles.
So that's on a tank of gas running in that very efficient little engine.
Yes. And 663 horsepower, 616 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, 4.4 seconds. Towing up to 14,000 pounds and a payload of up to 2,625 pounds. So what powers the generator? Well, it is the venerable Pentastar V6, 3.6 liter V6. And that's what runs the generator. And the power flows from the 3.6 liter V6 engine on board to the onboard 130 kilowatt generator. The engine generates the mechanical power converted to electric power by the generator, which can be used to charge the battery when the battery is depleted, or if the driver wants to preserve the battery power, it can also be applied to the high voltage bus, where the EDMs can use the generator's electrical power plus the battery electrical power to provide a maximum power in the wheels. There is no direct mechanical path from the engine to the wheels. And this engine has been adapted to this specific mission with unique packaging to make room for the front EDM. And the onboard generator mounts directly to the engine, while the power inverter module mounts to the vehicle and connects to the junction box.
Right. Because now some people are going to say, well, now, wait a second. If instead of driving 600 miles with this, why can't you just drive 600 miles with a regular engine like that same Pentastar V6? Well, because it's going to cost you much more money in fuel to drive with the engine. And the reason that this is more economical to run an electric motor is because the engine is running at a constant speed, which is the most efficient thing you can do to a gas engine, which of course you can't do in everyday driving.
Right. And
so it runs at constant speed, about 3,000 RPM for generators. And it gets tremendous mileage. You can optimize it for efficiency. So it's less costly to run.
Now, let me ask you this. We have certain states want to ban gas-powered vehicles. Under their description of a gas-powered vehicle, since there's no mechanical connection to the drivetrain, was this considered a gas-powered vehicle?
Interesting. In a court of law, I would say you couldn't consider it because it's not powering,
right,
in the conventional sense, the vehicle. It is powering what's powering.
So I think it's an interesting thing, and as you know, laws really are they have to be constantly rewritten because things like this come out. I find it a very interesting concept. I wonder how this will do with towing. Will it be better than a straight up electrical battery? I think it will be.
It has to be, because the torque of an electric motor is phenomenal.
Maybe this is the answer for big trucks, too, with diesels.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, let's stick with that, and we will come back with more cruise control. I think we just opened up an interesting topic for conversation. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We're coming back, so stay tuned.
Kilowatts. Control. And welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, continuing with the Ramcharger.
Yeah.
Because boy, oh boy, this is kind of a cool. I think it is anyway. A cool design, and I don't have the price of it, but it is going to be more efficient in the long run than a engine-driven truck if you put it through all its paces.
And as we were saying, it can tow 14,000 pounds. Remember, it's not like an electric vehicle where the range is just going to go down to nothing because the generator will just keep pumping the electricity, right?
It just keeps pumping basically 174, 175 horsepower worth of mechanical work to run the generator to create the electricity. So, hey, I like it. I like the engineering.
Well, we were talking about this. What about this for big diesel trucks to make them more efficient? You can run a smaller diesel at lower RPM.
I would think
you're not shifting.
Yeah. I would think this would scale up pretty well. And a diesel would even be more efficient running a generator.
Yeah. And
big generator. Well, I mean, the most efficient form of moving anything is our railroad system. They're all diesel electric locomotives.
Right. You're basically...
And they pull, 2 miles of railroad cars at a cost of some silly amount, like 20 or 30 cents per ton per mile or something.
That's why I say everyone keep an open mind. The future is not just one way of powering.
Right.
Yeah. So, but let's say you're not ready to make that step just yet, Les. Ram has something else for you that is also more efficient than the outgoing model. 2025 model Ram 1500. No more Hemis. It's only going to have V6s, and the most they will have the 3.6-liter Pentastar, but they're also offering their new 3-liter Hurricane high-output straight-six turbo engines, and they have a number of variations of them. They have anything from, I believe, about 400 horsepower up to 540 horsepower with the Hurricane HO. So straight six power.
They've learned from Ford that customers accept 6-cylinder engines with no hesitation.
Most engines that put out 500 horsepower, 540 horsepower are pretty acceptable in my view.
Yeah, it's just remarkable.
Twin turbocharged, the one that goes for puts out 540. 2 low inertia, high flow turbochargers. Plasma transfer wire arc bore coating. High pressure direct injection. And engine mounted water to air charge cooler. What a sophisticated engine, huh?
That's quite sophisticated. It doesn't say how fast the turbine is turning, but it's probably a couple 100,000 RPM.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable. And it's getting to the point that turbochargers are easy to repair, believe it or not.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
I didn't say cheap. I just, but they're incredibly reliable now.
Yeah. Well, I think Ram with both of these vehicles has really, they've kind of really hit it out of the park. And I think that they have taken their trucks, which were just great trucks, with all the things like the Ram box and all the other features, and then just accelerated them with these new powertrains. They're going to be much more efficient. Of course, that Hurricane engine is going to make its way across the Jeep lineup. I know it's going to be in the Wagoneer. And, it's a big step forward, I think. Don't you?
I do. And they're really out to get the biggest share of the market they can get. And they're doing well at it.
Yeah. Very, very cool. And plus, you can still get the heavy-duty turbo Cummins in that in the big 2500s and 3500s and 4500s. But I just love it. I really love the Ramcharger. I look forward to driving it and seeing what it's all about. And on these Hurricane straight 6-powered models, so cool stuff. Cool stuff from the folks at Ram. Exciting stuff. Hey, let's talk about Honda. We don't really talk a lot about the Ridgeline, but the Honda Ridgeline is getting more rugged, and it is getting upgraded tech. It's also getting the Trail Sport trim, which is kind of Honda's, everyone has like a wilderness model or whatever.
Yeah.
Trail Sport is Honda's, way of buffing it up, getting more buff.
This seems to be the year
of buffness
in the whole industry of off-road, trail this, wilderness this. And to me, I'm looking subtly at the front ends of everything we've talked about and the ones that I have been looking at, putting together the DC Auto Show program. They all are kind of trying to look like Range Rovers.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
It's a lot of that because, of course, that's the image of the historic off-road.
Yeah. Do you get a tweed jacket or one of those hats to wear when you get it?
Well, I guess.
I like those hats.
Yeah.
Ridgeline, always a fun vehicle. I like driving it. It's got a few unique features. Of course, the trunk in the bed of the pickup truck part. As you know, they tried to make it more truck-like, where they actually put a seam or simulated seam between the cab and the bed to make it look more like a pickup truck. They didn't have to do it. Actually, I think it would look cooler without it. It would just look great if it was just smooth.
It probably would, but it really does give that pickup truck look.
It's popular. It's got a lot of followers, but it's good. I mean, I think it's a good-looking update to the vehicle, and if you like that rough and tumble look,
and you like the off-road tuned suspension.
I know you do.
The all-terrain tires. Test drives these things.
Yeah.
Please, before you buy it, because you may not like the ride.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely, you might think like, wow, all that extra ground clearance, and then you realize those tires are noisy on the highway, and
that's right.
Everyone says, ooh, get that, want to look tough, and then you get it, and then it's like, oh, I have to drive this now. So, but interesting story from the folks at Honda. Here's another story, and we'll get into this, and we'll probably talk about this more after the break. So the Cruise division, of course, not the Chevy Cruise, the Cruise division, right? That was a $1.9 billion investment that is basically closed up. They had these robo-taxis that would pick you up. They were using them in San Francisco, Houston, Austin, Dallas, Miami, and Phoenix, and San Francisco. They had an incident where somebody was dragged by one of these vehicles. They had incidents where they would just stop all at once. And they've decided to pull the plug on this because it's just not working out. So we will talk a little bit about that and what it means for autonomous vehicles, and we'll kind of prognosticate when these fully autonomous vehicles will be out there. I don't think it's anytime soon, but we'll talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Check us out on all of our social media, our Cruise Control page on YouTube, and a whole lot more. So I know Les Jackson hangs there all the time.
Yep.
Okay. So we were talking about the Cruise, not the Chevy Cruise, but their division. They spent, GM spent $1.9 billion on this and operation.
Pretty much what all the manufacturers have been spending on this stuff.
Has the shine gone off fully autonomous cars?
It's funny. Yes, the shine has gone off. People want it eventually, but they're trepidatious, and I guess priorities are shifting.
They have to pay for the electric transition,
right,
which is
right.
expensive.
So, yeah, there's great interest in it, but that's what it is interest.
Well, also announced, GM's Cruise halts the production of the Cruise driverless van. These Chevy Bolts were used with all that rig on the roof rack to test out the technology. They were going to do the Cruise Origin van, but since they have paused all driverless operations, they have temporarily put a halt to its fully autonomous van. So this was going to be like, as they call it, the egg type van. It just shows up and gives you a ride. And I think this is wonderful, especially for elderly people and things like that, vision impaired. Wonderful that you could do that and the thing just shows up and takes you there. We're not there yet, though, are we?
Well, we're not. No, but they would be useful if you limited them to, for instance, retirement villages.
Mm-hmm.
And, special communities where the vans are programmed so they can't make a mistake. And but putting them out on the open roads, it's just too early.
It's not there yet. It's not there yet. We talked earlier in the show about Polestar putting LiDAR, laser radar, on their vehicles. Now, as more vehicles get out there, they can do the mapping and send the data.
Right.
Constantly update that data. Like, there's construction on the highway, noted, duly noted, and that goes right out to all the other vehicles. That's the concept of LiDAR, right, rather than like the Google truck riding around and mapping everything.
That's right. But there's an awful lot of information that needs to be available.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something that will be available. And let's talk about some of the things that will be coming out at this week LA Auto Show. And so we have a one-line release from Toyota. The next generation Toyota Camry will make its debut on November 14th at 10 p.m. Stay tuned.
Okay, that's it.
So
thank you very much.
New Camry coming out. One vehicle that will be revealed, but actually we already have a picture of it, or in video of it, is the Ford California GT, Mustang GT California. This has been, I guess it started as a kind of a dealer option package for California dealers during the early days of Mustang. And now it returns for the 2024 model year, the Mustang GT Premium Fastback and convertible models. And it kind of celebrates the original cues from 1968. It was geared towards California's optimistic and carefree driving culture. And now it is repackaged for 2024, features rave blue detail, signature color, appears on its nostrils. A new horizontal slat grille with gloss black or low gloss black strakes and black bezels, Mustang GT specific graphics, special wheels. It has a navy pier upholstery, perforated navy pier upholstery, that kind of blue leather, which I always thought was attractive in a car. So this is the new California package. It's a $2,000 add-on to the price of a Mustang GT Premium. What do you think of it?
I think it's pretty handsome.
Yeah.
It's, it's anything like that. Of course, is going to have an appeal to a certain group. I've only ever seen in the old days only one California special around here. Actually, one of my neighbors had one, and it had a supercharger.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the first I'd ever heard of them. But it's cool. This is nicely done. It's not it's not tricked out too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, handsome.
Handsome. There you go. So that is going to be revealed at the LA Auto Show. But what else? Well,
Hyundai.
Hyundai. Yep, Hyundai is going to yeah. The Santa Fe, of course. Remember the Santa Fe? I drove this not that long ago, and it was not boxy. They've gone boxy, haven't they?
Well, it's the Range Rover-ishness.
the Range Rover-ishness. Ishness, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's what they're doing. So this is the new Hyundai Santa Fe, and that will be revealed as well. So the other piece of information we have also from Toyota is the Crown. By the way, the Crown is apparently a hit. The Crown is sort of their high-riding sedan. But while they were at it, they decided, well, if we're going to have a high-riding sedan Crown, why don't we also have an SUV version of it? And that is going to be revealed as they're very short-winded. I'll read you the whole release. Come with us to new heights. A bold new adventure with Toyota Crown starts November 14th.
They've saved a lot of money in typewriter ribbon.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So that's pretty good. It's certainly an interesting vehicle, and we'll kind of keep you up to date on all of these because there'll be a lot to talk about, a lot happening at the LA Auto Show.
Yeah.
Also, probably going to see a new Forester from Subaru. That's what the betting money is on now. So good stuff.
That's right.
That's one of the older ones in their lineup. So we will see that. So a lot going on LA Auto Show, and we'll cover it. So Les, we talked about this earlier. I know you want to order one of these cars, the Demon 170, so you can head down to the grocery store with your wheels up and make it there as fast as you can. But we told you earlier in the show about how people are getting to buy vehicles closer to MSRP, right? That they're no longer paying $5,000, $10,000 over asking price. Well, DAR Cars, DAR
to my area.
DAR Cars, all one word, automotive group in Maryland.
Yes.
Has one of these Demon 170s The dealer wants $253,190 over sticker. That's the markup, adjusted markup price.
Well, yes. I think, well, again, I know I wouldn't go near them, but I'd let them know I'm not going near them.
Yeah. Silver Springs, Maryland.
Yep.
And
well, the Darkar Group is a number of dealerships, started by a fellow named John Darvish a number of years ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure he's out of the game now, but he had children who took over various parts of the dealerships. Not the greatest reputation for fair deals. You can sort of see what's going on here, but I just say, hey, put the word out. Your people have gone too far. We're going to get as many people as we can to go elsewhere.
Yeah. $386,000 for this. The sticker is $133. So crazy stuff. Hey, when we come back, we are going to take a ride in the Equinox, the 2024 Chevy Equinox RS. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. And Les, it's time for an At the Wheel review. We are going to talk about the Chevy Equinox RS. This is a 2024 model. Nice small crossover, really nice detail on the outside. This RS package, mostly appearance, kind of gives you a little flair of the Camaro, the blacked out grille, the blacked out graphics, but it looked really good. Ours was the a very nice lakeshore blue exterior, very cool color. On the inside, there's a lot of black leather, red stitching. The red stitching is probably the only contrast you have other than a black interior. The interior, well, it reminds you of a lot of GM vehicles from the 90s and 2000s. A lot of the controls will look very familiar to you. But that's kind of the appeal of this vehicle. There's a button for just about everything. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. That's something you don't see these days. Mostly things are hidden away in menus and submenus. There's even a button for the all-wheel drive system, so you can lock it up. We had the optional 8-inch display, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, pretty much a standard GM deal. A lot of connectivity, USB-C and the regular USB-As, so plenty of connectivity. In the back, rear seat spacious. The lower cushion was pretty deep, actually. Also had decent leg room on the inside. Amenities for the passengers include rear vents, air conditioning and heating vents, a couple of more USB-As, and a inverter, AC 120-volt converter. Like I say, the inside, it reminds you of the past, but maybe that's not a bad thing. A lot of black, just broken up with the red stitching. We would like to see more. Nice feature, capless gas fill. That was a good thing to see. Plenty of storage out back. It's kind of a square area, so it's easy to store things. You've got remote seat releases, and those seats fold mostly flat compared to some other SUVs. So really nice storage area, kind of rectangular. And I always like when I see a compact spare in there and a jack. You can help yourself out. Nice flat load floor. Underneath, you get one engine, and it is 175 horsepower, 1.5 liter turbo. Power flows through a 6-speed automatic. Even under the hood, it looks like it's from another time, but that's okay. We love that Lakeshore blue. We love the gray metallic wheels with it, and the front, of course, has kind of a Camaro flair to it. And RS. RS is the model. You can also get some other goodies on some of the higher-end models, but ours was well equipped. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Wi-Fi hotspot. Safety, Chevy Safety Assist, automatic emergency braking, forward collision alert, lane keep assist, following distance indicator, which means if someone pulls away, if the car in front of you pulls away, it will tell you. IntelliBeam, auto high beam, which we liked a lot. Teen driver, ability to limit the geofence the vehicle. And a theft deterrent system. So what did we have on ours? The base price of this is $32,550, but we popped for the RS leather package, which is $1,580. The Bose Premium 7-speaker system, which did sound great. Jet black RS leather appointed seats, power sunroof, $1,495. Safety and infotainment package, heated steering wheel, data ports, power outlet in the back, as I showed you for the passengers. Chevrolet infotainment with the upgraded 8-inch display, and that all comes in. Well, there's more actually. Bluetooth audio streaming, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capability. All of that. Total options, $4,275. The total price, as tested with the $1,385 destination, was $38,220. Mileage is decent. Highway, 30 miles to the gallon. City, 24, for a combined number of 26 miles to the gallon. So, what did I like about this vehicle? Well, I kind of like that it was a throwback to the old days with individual controls for everything. But don't get too used to that. 2025, this model gets completely revamped and will go to a touch screen and will eliminate a lot of those buttons. The interior is going to be completely new. So is the exterior, which they say will follow the look of the Traverse, the larger SUV. So they'll kind of keep it all in the family. I love the way it drove. It was quiet. It was comfortable. However, the rear suspension did make noise when you hit potholes and you know, the amateurish repairs that we do get in New York for the road. It would be noisy. Like you could hear it going through its work. Also, turning radius is oddly big on this, 41 feet for a small SUV, and it was noticeable in tight parking lots. Not sure why that is, but I'm hoping the new version will be engineered a little bit differently. But you just look at some of the controls, and that it definitely looks like it's from the 2000s. Not a bad thing, but it's just not keeping up with the rest of the competition. And it does have a lot of competition for sure. Still, would I buy one? Yes, because I think it's a nice-sized vehicle. It drove well. It rode well. With a couple of exceptions, as I said, over the bumps, you could hear the rear suspension really working and the turning radius. But I think it is a safe bet. Would I wait till 2025? Well, I'd like to see what they're going to have on offer, you know, and it will be a pretty big revamp. So I guess I would go with a 2025, but you know, it has a lot of options for that price. Heated steering wheel, the automatic high beams, the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which, by the way, is great. You can leave your phone in your pocket and do all your navigation without in any way, you know, having to connect it or having, you know, missing the cable, anything like that. I love the color. I think that was really vibrant. What's new for this year, for 2024? Well, that is one of the new colors, Lakeshore Blue, also Riptide Blue. The Driver 2 Confidence Package now includes lane change alert and safe blind zone and rear cross traffic alert. Probably wouldn't buy a vehicle without that, Les. That's an important thing these days.
No, I agree.
And you know, it's gotten some. It is number one for new vehicle quality among compact SUVs for the second year in a row. And it is offered, as I mentioned, in LS, LT, RS, which we tested, and Premier trims. So you can also get a Midnight Edition, a Sport Edition, standard LED headlamps, which means it helps with the ratings, safety ratings, and heated front seats are now standard on the LT. I was happy with the infotainment system, although it does kind of harken back to the bow tie radio days, but it all worked, and it worked instantly. And I also found that 1.5 turbo had plenty of power, and the 6-speed automatic was well tuned too. No delay. Cargo room behind the rear seat, 29.9 cubic feet, 63.9 cubic feet with the rear seat folded. As I say, I like that about the vehicle because it was kind of like a big rectangle, and it seemed like it would be a great place to store a lot of things. I did like how the rear seat folds basically flat too. So all in all, a good vehicle. You basically will know, though, it does have controls from the old days of GM, and that's something that's being addressed. Yeah, I liked all the buttons, and I think that is a kind of an appeal of the vehicle, but that will be going away, unfortunately, in 2025. So there you have it, the Chevy Equinox RS tested at the wheel. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road. Take care.
Bye.
All right, let me stop.
Yep.